Now let's discuss bladder 65, Shugu restraining bone, a Shu-Stream point. Bladder 65 is located on the lateral aspect of the foot in the depression proximal to the head of the fifth metatarsal bone. How to find? When palpating along the bony structures on the lateral aspect of the foot, a prominent bony landmark can be felt approximately at the midpoint of the foot. This is the tuberosity of the fifth metatarsal bone. Distal to it, towards the toes, you can feel a further bony structure, the head of the fifth metatarsal bone, directly proximal to it at the border of the red and white skin, border dorsum or sole of the foot. Bladder 65 can be palpated in a depression. Bladder 66 is located in a depression distal to the head of the fifth metatarsal bone, distal to the metatarsophalangeal joint at the junction of the base and the shaft of the proximal phalanx of the little toe. Spleen 3 is located in a comparable position on the medial aspect of the foot, proximal to the head of the first metatarsal bone. SI3 and LI3 are located in comparable positions at the ulnar lateral border of the hand. Needling of bladder 65 vertically, 0.3 to 0.5 soon. Caution, this is a painful point. Actions or indications: expels pathogenic factors, especially from the head, clears heat, opens the channel and luo vessels, alleviates pain, calms the shen. Special features: Shu-Stream point, wood point, sedation point. Bladder 65 can be used as a distal point for any problems along the bladder channel, particularly if they affect the head. It is therefore used for painful obstruction syndrome of the neck, for which it is particularly useful. It clears heat from the bladder channel in the head and eyes. However, it can be used in acute cystitis to clear heat from the bladder. It expels exterior wind and is frequently used in the beginning stages of an attack of wind cold, the greater yang stage, with pronounced headache and stiff neck. Bladder 65 subdues rebellious qi from the head, so it's good for headache, dizziness, occipital headache. Clears heat, so redness and pain of the eye, redness of inner canthus of the eye, yellow sclera. Expels exterior wind, aversion to cold, fever, occipital stiffness, and ache. The classic of difficulty states: in cases of deficiency, reinforce the mother. In cases of excess, reduce the child. Bladder 65 is the wood point of the bladder channel, and according to the mother-child theory, is able to reduce excess in the bladder channel. Wood is the child of bladder water, especially fullness and heat in the head region. The bladder channel ascends from the inner canthus over the vertex, connects with points of the governing vessel and gallbladder channel on the head, and descends through the occipital region and neck. Bladder 65 consequently is indicated for redness and pain of the eyes and inner canthus, headache especially in the occipital region, and stiff neck. The heat-clearing action of bladder 65 extends to resolving fever, especially due to injury by wind, and to draining heat from the anal region in the treatment of hemorrhoids. Like bladder 40, bladder 65 is also indicated for carbuncular swellings on the back and for clove sores, small, hard, clove-shaped, purulent lesions. Water rules the bones. As the wood point in water, this point assists growth and is frequently used to promote the healing of bones. As the wood point on a water meridian, it can adjust imbalance when there is drive but no vision, will or jur but no plants, seed but no growth or hope. Water may be our deep origins, but wood permits us to begin things and move upwards and out in all directions, so we flourish in the development of our life. When despair and loss of faith in the processes of life has temporarily overwhelmed the bladder official, this point can help move the person to a new state. As a distal point and wood point, and remembering the beginning of the pathway of the bladder meridian, bladder 65 can affect the eyes and head, clearing redness and pain, headache, stiff neck. As the Shu-Stream point, it is able to harmonize the interior and exterior and balance deficiency and excess. It is a helpful point in enabling and regulating the qi transformation that the bladder official effects at every level of the body, mind, and spirit. So our qi remains free from stagnation, mental edema, and clouding of the spirit. It can be used for any problems along the bladder pathway, as Shu-Stream points are indicated for P syndrome. Example, lumbar pain. Shu-Stream points are indicated when there is heaviness and or pain of the limbs. Bladder 65 resolves fever and subdues interior wind, so helps with epilepsy. Clears heat from the bladder and is useful for cystitis. Treats hemorrhoids via the divergent pathway of the bladder. First aid point for poisoning, burns, sunburns, scalds, insect bites. Clears the head, clears the eyes, clears heat, dispels wind, activates the meridian, removes obstructions from the pathway. It is a wood point, sedation point, Shu-Stream, antique summer point, a consolation point. First aid point for fractures, poisoning, burns, sunburns, scalds, insect bites, cystitis. Bladder 65 promotes and accelerates the healing of bones. Consider in cases where there is an intense fear or dislike of cold and wind. For sciatica, hemorrhoids, it connects to the anus, cystitis or irritation in the small or large intestines. Helps clear the head and eyes. It is a distal point.